What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren, and with me is Law. Everybody say
Hello,
welcome to
everyone.
Law. He will be on the
Hi.
channel a lot more, so used to his beautiful face. Today, we're going to talk about what everybody's talking about. So let's join the conversation. Is Marvel dead? Is Marvel dying? I think no. Have things been? Have we had some poor quality content? Yes, but
Mhm.
initially, what do you think? Because I've seen like a bunch of videos on this already. Like
Yeah.
right when Secret Invasion finale came out, people were like on it, like making videos like Marvel's dead. Is
hmm
Marvel's dead? Can they come back? What are your thoughts? Just like right away, Law.
Well,
Yeah,
it's such a dramatic thing to say,
it's
is
so
Marvel
dramatic,
dead?
right?
You know what
Like
I mean? Like, and it's been happening since Endgame. And I,
mhm.
I know people that were big Marvel fans that even hated Endgame. And I'm like, how do you hate
Really?
Endgame? It's like everything that we led up to. And we'll get
Uh-huh.
into this, but that's what's lacking in the MCU right now is that I don't feel like we're headed in a direction. We're headed
Mhm.
in multiple directions. And
Right.
is Marvel dying? I certainly hope not, because I still enjoy a lot of it. But did I enjoy everything that they're coming out with? Absolutely not. And so
Right,
I
right.
I think it's like a weird phase of experimentation and trying to appease the audience and also possibly like bad work environment. So
Yeah, we've heard
it's
about
gonna
that.
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting time to see how figures itself out. But I'd like to optimistically say that it's not dying, but it does need triaging. It does need some first
Sure.
aid.
Sure. It makes sense. That's fair. And what we're gonna do today is we're actually gonna we'll pull up, some of the older phase one to phase three movies. Obviously, we don't have any Disney Plus shows to compare to because there were none before then. But we'll talk
Right.
about the quality of them, and we'll also talk about the future as well, because that's, I think, considering the future is like the biggest factor of, is Marvel dying? Like,
Yeah.
first of all, I think Marvel, I I hope Marvel, I hope Marvel is smart enough to hear the audience
Yeah.
and realize that, like, oh, okay, they're losing tons, like literally millions of Disney Plus subscribers, right? Ticket sales for a lot of just Disney projects in general
hmm
are bad, right?
Right.
So I hope they kind of get something in their brain that goes like, hey, we're kind of losing touch with the audience a little bit. Like, let's
hmm
listen and hear what they want to say. So, like, did you like Secret Invasion?
I liked it to a point, and
Right.
I was just kind of let down by you hear the word secret invasion, and as a comic book fan, I
Oh,
immediately draw into, like different
it's nothing.
storylines.
Yeah,
It's nothing in
nothing at
comparison.
all like it. Yeah.
Even in the MCU, Secret Invasion doesn't really leave a dent, except for spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, the most powerful character now
Oh
being
my
Gaia.
gosh.
You know
And
what
I
I mean?
hate.
Like
Yeah.
when that happened, I was like, oh, come on, dude. Because Captain Marvel is already OP, and now we have like a Peter Petrelli version of
Right.
of
Right.
all
Right.
those powers. I love Amelia Clark. I
So do
did
I.
not I don't think this was the vessel to make her like the most powerful being in the MCU. And I was really let down by the overall story of Secret Invasion. But that's my problem with Disney Plus shows, especially the Marvel ones, right? You see it in the Star Wars realm too. But since we're sticking to Marvel, they have strong concepts and strong starts, but somewhere halfway through the season, there's a quality drop off.
That
And
seems to be. Sorry to cut you off, just real quick
no,
though.
you're
But
fine.
that
Yeah.
does seem to be a. It just that's common. I feel
It's like
like
a pattern now.
it's a
like
pattern. Yeah.
like
It's
at
like.
first it
Yeah.
wasn't. And then you're like, I hope for the best. It's a pattern now.
It is. I just got done telling you about Miss Marvel. I
Right.
really loved the show in the beginning, and to this
Same.
day, I love Amon Vellani as Miss Marvel. She's perfect as Kamala Khan.
hmm
But like third episode, fourth episode, I'm like, what is this writing? Like,
hmm
what are some of these effects? It is. But sorry, go ahead, continue. Yes, the quality,
No,
liking it up to a certain point.
exactly that. Like Miss Marvel is a great example. It's a show that I really loved. They showed, I'm South Asian, so seeing like the great partition happening, like
Sure.
all that stuff was really rich and full of like detail that I like wanted to eat up, but you have 6 episodes to tell these stories and it's never enough. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
feel like the writing in that second half of the season is like, how do we tie all this shit together?
Yeah,
And
rush
like,
it. Rush it. We
yeah.
got to get it finished. Let's go.
And I
Squeeze
feel
it
like
in.
Secret Invasion fell into maybe
That.
probably the worst version of that because they were
Mhm.
like, here's this world we set up, and let's not address most of this stuff. Let's talk about Nick Fury's love life. Let's talk about Gravik's like power grab. And then
I
by the
know.
end, I'm like, why did we have this show? To
Yeah.
kill off 2 really cool characters?
That's what I said the other day.
Like to kill off 2 characters and give us one super OP one? Was that the whole point?
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's like the quality thing. I saw a glimpse of it in WandaVision and Loki, but obviously those are some of the stronger shows
Oof,
that
love
we've
those
had.
shows. Yep.
Yeah, amazing shows. But you got to admit, during the finales of those shows, because of the way the audience thinks and because of the discussions that we get to have online, they can feel underwhelming. You know, you can't see it as
I
like
get
what
what
your
you're saying.
expectations
You're
are.
blaming me because I pushed Mephisto so much for WandaVision. I see what you're doing.
I'm not doing it. All right. The internet's doing it. I'm just reiterating.
I've already
No.
dealt with this. I've already had this is PTSD now.
Yeah, but you're right, dude. Somewhere along the way, the writing gets messy, and then like, sorry to bring up Secret Invasion again, but like
No,
when
no.
the director doesn't look at the source material, that worries me as a big old nerd because it's just like at the very least you want the spirit to carry over, like, and it doesn't always.
No, and this, like, again, like you said, like for the people who have read the comic, this is nothing like it at all.
Nothing at
And
all.
this is so here's a problem for me that I think is a problem with Marvel right
Mm.
now. I feel like we're like too many characters are just like made too powerful really quick.
Yeah.
Like that was Captain Marvel, and it's Gaia now. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what happened to like the struggle of becoming the hero?
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just kind of like, and like, yeah, some people could say, like, well, Gaia lost her mom, she lost her dad, but it's like, okay, but before that, she can take the skin of a human, live a human life. You know what I mean? Like it's just like I'm not seeing a lot of like physical struggle or struggle for, there is some struggle there with being displaced in people,
Yeah.
an immigrant story, which I get. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, yeah, you just became a super scroll. Like you jumped in a machine and like there it is. All of a sudden you can beat Gravik. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so easy. And it's like the same thing with Captain Marvel. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, the power was inside you all along. And it's just like, no, you need to grow and build the power and struggle. And that's what makes the victory better. That's what makes
Yeah.
it sweet, right?
I
You
mean,
think of
yeah, sorry, go for it.
no, you think of like Captain America. Look at his struggle. This
Mhm.
scrawny little guy, and then he still struggled after he became like Captain America. He lost Bucky, right? He lost the love of his life. He got frozen in the ice. Like he still had to deal with stuff even when he got powers, right?
Yeah.
So there was still more fighting. Same thing with Thor, right? He lost his hammer. He
Yeah.
became unworthy. He basically lost to the Destroyer, and then through all of that, he came to the realization because he grew as a person, as a character,
Mhm.
to become who he was. Now he's a goofball, but who he was, and then he became like Thor, and then it was like, I'm worthy again, and I'm like, yes, we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
If they were writing Thor the way it did now, he wouldn't just be unworthy to have his hammer in the first place. Or if he was unworthy to be the hammer, he just would have been like, you know what? I can be better, and I am better. Bam, worthy, I win. Like that's how I feel like it would be written now.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm really tired of the like it's inside. Which don't get me wrong, like yeah, it's good. Like you have the power to be better, is what I would say. Every real person does, but you can't just flip a switch and then it's done.
It
right?
takes work. Yeah,
it takes work, and that's what I think has been missing lately. Is like the heroes not doing work; they're just OP. First of all, I'm tired of really OP heroes, but they're not doing any work to become OP. Like I want that struggle. Like I think as fans, we enjoy seeing heroes lose and then win.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny that we're having this conversation because, take us back 10 years ago and people would have been complaining that Thor is not powerful enough, that Cap was nerfed from the comics.
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean? But now we're in a place where it's like, because they set up this world in that way, when I
Mhm.
see someone manipulating energy in a way that like I haven't even seen some of the heaviest hitters in the MCU do, then I have that complaint too, or it's just like, where is this coming from? Why do we need them to be this OP? And
Right.
then and then it makes you worried about like, okay, are we still building up to Kang? Like, how does Kang fight Gaia at this
He couldn't
point, or two Captain Marvels? You
he
know what I
couldn't
mean?
beat ants.
Yeah, he couldn't beat ants. Yeah,
Which
yeah.
pissed me off. Like that
It was so
pissed me
underwhelming.
off. It was
Yeah.
so underwhelming. I'm like, dude, and he was so and Jonathan Majors is great at playing
Yeah.
Kang. Like
Yes.
his performance as Kang is awesome. He's menacing, and you're like quiet when you watch him. You're like,
You want to listen to him.
you want to
Yeah.
listen to him. It's so great, and he's like conquered all of these worlds, and it shows him just how ruthless he is. And I'm just like, and then ants.
And that's like another problem with Marvel right
That is the
now is
problem.
that
Yeah.
you get these villains that have a lot of what I would think you'd call it gravitas, right? You call it
Mhm.
character. Like Gravik was spitting some sick monologues, but the
Oh my
rest of the
gosh,
writing
so
around the
good.
show wasn't as good. And
Yeah.
so when he eventually loses, I'm like, what the fuck was the point of setting it up? You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like, give us the Super Scroll if you're going to give us the Super Scroll. Let him exist beyond this. But you see it with like Doctor Strange, No Way Home. I loved. Well, I'll start
Mhm.
with that. Shang
Okay.
Chi, No Way Home, even Eternals. I really enjoyed. Then you go into like Multiverse of Madness. The quality drops off. Love Sam Raimi. Love like the vibe of the movie. Did not
Mhm.
like the movie overall in like a big way. I think I gave it like a C or C minus in my head. You
Yep.
know, Thor: Love and Thunder. Really enjoyed it, but did it have impact on the timeline? Not really. Gore was underwhelming as a character, especially
Mhm.
when you're coming from Ragnarok, where like
Yeah, the bar
Hela is
set really
so
high.
cool. And then like I think the anomaly was like what Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Wakanda Forever, really great highlights, right? But then
Yeah.
you look at Quantumania, and I feel like it just wasn't handled with the same care or respect, which is
Mhm.
really, really frustrating. Then you get Secret Invasion versus like I liked Hawkeye. I did not really like Falcon and Winter Soldier. I liked
Yeah.
WandaVision. I liked Loki. I liked Moon Knight. I liked a lot of She-Hulk, but not all of She-Hulk. So it's like the fact that I don't know, maybe it's just because we have so much content now that it's hard to make everything good.
Yeah.
But that in itself is an issue, I think.
It is. And so we'll go into like the future part now because we could talk about a lot for a long time about
Sure.
what is
Yeah.
currently happened. But I'm with you. Like Falcon and Winter Soldier was all right. I honestly kind of don't remember,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
like that's sad, right? I could tell you everything that happened in WandaVision, everything that happened
Mm-hmm.
in Loki. I
Mm-hmm.
loved Moon Knight, right? But like the fact is, what you just said is they're putting out so much. Not all of it's going to be good, especially when they
Right.
do a show like She-Hulk that is appealing to like a very specific audience. You're right.
Niche.
You're
Yeah.
niche.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're blocking out like if this is a pie chart, right, of the Marvel fan base, and you're taking just a chunk of that, you're blocking out a lot of people. So when it's not successful, that's why. Now it's cool that you're going into niches and trying to appeal to like specific people. That's really, really cool. But moving forward, they have said they're going to do less content.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'll go back to what I said before. I want to say I think, but I'll really say I hope that because you don't know, right? I hope
Yeah.
that less content means better quality content.
I would
And
hope
so in
so.
my mind, if you're putting out 4 Disney Plus shows a year and you cut back to 2, those Disney Plus shows can be 9 episodes long and they can all be an hour long because now we have more budget, now we have more
Mm-hmm.
time, now we have more care. You know, that's my thought. So when people ask me like, is Marvel dying? Like, no, have they put some bad stuff out? Sure. And there are people out there who really like Secret Invasion. And I honestly,
Sure.
I like the fight, but I hate
There was some good action.
everything else, literally everything else about the finale.
Bro, there was some good action, but like I couldn't understand scroll motivation. Like there weren't enough secret scrolls. Like there's so many things I can nitpick. But my biggest problem with that show is that you mentioned it just a second ago, but like you get a big budget, and then when I can't see that budget in the
Yeah.
quality of the show, that drives me crazy. So if you're giving $200 million for a
200 million.
show,
Yeah.
I want to see $200 million worth of like great writing and effects and production value. Granted, they had a crazy cast that they had to pay, but can we not adjust for that? You know what I mean?
Seriously. Yeah.
So if we're going to a model of like a couple shows a year, then I would hope that it's like, okay, we give them $200,000, we give them maybe even 12 episodes for a season,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Go longer.
I think you and I can agree 6 episodes is not enough to do anything.
Well,
Uh,
no, it's not, especially when they're like 38 minutes long.
yeah. Well, Secret
Like,
Invasion's last episode was like so short, and I was like, what's the point?
yeah, for sure. And thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Many of you may know that I personally use HelloFresh and I love it. It makes cooking fun, easy, and it's affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit delivered straight to your door. And you might not know that they actually have seasonal recipes. Right now, since it's summer, they have their new Fresh and Fit summer menu. So if you're trying to get that beach bud, but you're also trying to eat really great tasting food, it's perfect for you. Right now, it's peak time for summer produce, and HelloFresh makes sure you get all the best picks all season long. Their ingredients travel from the farm to your door in less than 7 days for quality you can taste. If you are trying to impress your friends this summer by doing some cooking for them, HelloFresh makes it super simple. They give you all of the ingredients and tell you exactly how to make each meal. And the best part is, right now, if you go to hellofresh.com/cosmic50, you can use code cosmic50 for 50% off plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/cosmic50 and use code cosmic50 for 50% off plus free shipping. Well, so like the biggest thing to me is I do think the quality has suffered, and I don't know why we're having such short episodes. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes to
Me
make it
neither.
like decided that that's what it is. But I think like Daredevil is what, 18 episodes long?
Yeah,
16
so
episodes? Yeah,
that's
18
supposed to be
episodes.
the biggest change, right? Yeah.
Right. So that makes me really optimistic. And I think I know Kevin Feige, and I think he's gonna really handle that with care. Because
Yeah.
it's Daredevil, he's very loved from the Netflix series. It's still him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Charlie Cox, playing Matt Murdock, Daredevil, and
Um,
I think it's going to be handled very well. And I look at, like, if we take a look at the future slates, right? Like if we take a look at like what's coming up for Phase 5,
yeah.
it looks fantastic. So we talk about like the Loki trailer that we just got. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
that looks amazing.
Yeah.
And here's a big thing that I think these other movies and shows are about to do. They're going to tie in more with the overall story of the MCU. Because you're right, like with the exception of like Quantum Mania, we haven't really seen much effect. And you know what made me mad was that some insiders are saying like Secret Invasion isn't really going to affect that much.
Yeah.
Like I heard someone say, you're going to be surprised how little they talk about Secret Invasion in the Marvels. I'm like, what do you mean? That's a direct follow-up. The
Yeah.
theory is
You would
literally
think
on
that's like
Saber.
literally the
Right.
direct follow-up. Yeah.
Right. Same thing with Captain America Brave New World. They're not going to really address a lot of the politics of it, and because it's going to be kind of a political movie because Thunderbolt Ross is going to be the president. I'm like, how are you not going to do that? But if we look at like, Loki season 2, and in all honesty, I think the Marvels looks really good.
Yeah.
I think it looks really, really good. I hope it's executed properly. But then we have Blade, Ironheart, Agatha Coven of Chaos, Daredevil, Thunderbolts, Captain America, New World Order. Mm-hmm. I think these are going to be great, and they are going to tie into the bigger picture of the MCU. I think if they give them the care that they need and make sure the writing is on point and show us the actual budget, like you said, give us actual quality, I think we're in for a real treat, in all honesty. Right. Yeah. There are some, like, Ironheart is probably what I'm least interested in. I lied. Sorry. Echo is what I'm least interested in.
Oh, dude, I totally forgot about Echo.
Exactly.
That's not a great
sign. A lot
sign.
of people do. Well, what's not a great sign is they're releasing all the episodes at one time.
Yeah, that's also a good point, which is what I thought they should have done for Secret Invasion, because it would have been more exciting to binge. Yeah.
Right. You almost wonder if that is a better strategy, and we'll have to see with Echo. I've actually heard good things about Echo.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Echo. And, the character to me is interesting. I just, story-wise, she's not typical, she wasn't a main character in Hawkeye, or she was one of the main characters, but not like the
Yeah.
main character. So I'm sitting here wondering, like, it's going to be interesting enough. It's going to be exciting enough. But, Ironheart is even still going to have connections to a bigger picture, right? With Armor Wars, right? With, and this, knock on wood, all this stuff, whatever's not going to jinx me. Mephisto is supposed to be in it as well, right? Deadline
Yeah.
reported Sacha Baron Cohen's in it, and they reported they
Yeah.
believe he's playing Mephisto. And then, there's that whole supernatural side, like Blade, connecting with Black Knight and Moon Knight, right? And Doctor Strange and the Midnight Suns, Agatha Covenant of Chaos doing that, supernatural side as well.
Yes.
That and then Daredevil connecting to like the street level Avengers team with Spider-Man and with Captain America. And Captain America is supposed to start the new Avengers team in that film and introduce Red Hulk. Right. And then the Thunderbolts is just a really cool concept in general. And we've already seen that throughout the MCU, right? With Black Widow, post-credit scene, stuff like that. Like that's already been connected. And the Thunderbolts team in general is a big connected team.
Yeah, sure.
Of people we've seen before.
It's the Avengers, but bad Earth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Badder.
Like,
yeah. Exactly. So there are some really great things coming up.
Sure.
But like you said, I think it's just about quality.
Yeah.
Like they're going to,
One of the things that the biggest change, if you look back to when we started where we're at, is that star power started to become such a thing in the MCU. Who got cast as stuff? We got a movie with freaking Angelina Jolie in it, which is something I would have never guessed. Yeah. And you look at like the talent behind who's directing things, right? Like these are not small names anymore. And in that regard, people like Anthony Mackie have become global superstars. People like Elizabeth Olsen are now a household name, even though her career has been robust and really impressive before the MCU. And so now we're in a balancing act, I think, where it's just like, okay, we have all these star powers. We have Emilia Clarke, we have Sam Jackson, but that shouldn't take away from story, right? And so like you said, like we have a bunch of sick titles coming. But on first glance, truthfully, you're not like, oh, I love all these heroes. Like I love Loki, I love Guardians.
Sure.
It's a new Captain America. Thunderbolts is a brand new team made of villains, essentially,
which is a crazy cool concept.
Yeah. And so there's hope. I'll say that there's a lot of hope.
Yeah, there's a lot of hope. And we didn't even talk about it, but upcoming Phase 6, 2 Avengers films, which sound fantastic. So Secret Wars, obviously.
Yeah.
Multiverse collapsing, all this stuff, and then Fantastic 4.
Oh yeah,
wow,
F4. Yep.
But but I'm with you. I think there was a time where Marvel made the actors superstars, and now they're kind of getting the superstars, and that actually takes away from the budget.
Yeah. And the performance sometimes. Like I love Samuel L. Jackson. I cannot say confidently that he gave it his all during Secret Invasion.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. You wonder how much he was really in it.
Yeah, and so I don't it's so hard to predict how things would go, but the setups are going to be happening. Like we're finally addressing the celestial in the ocean. We're finally, Daredevil's coming back. Yes, he has an inbuilt audience, but then it's a balancing act of like, satisfying old fans, but then also bringing in the Disney version of that character and those fans. Blade, I know, is going through a whole lot of, the whole industry is going through some shit.
Everything's going through a lot right now. And that's actually should be like a good opportunity to kind of like sit down and go, let's review this stuff.
Let's do this right. Yeah.
They have to know. We'll close with this. They have to know that fans have not like a good majority of the fans haven't enjoyed a lot of what they've done recently. And don't get me wrong, I'm a guy that like I kind of like enjoy everything. That doesn't mean I think everything's an A+.
Yeah,
I can enjoy something with it being a C+. I don't think it's like the greatest thing in the world, but I can sit there and be like, I don't hate myself for watching that.
Bro, I get it. I like Eternals.
Right, exactly.
So it
blew my mind that people hated Eternals and liked Dune. To me, I'm like, they're the same style of movie. But anyways, there's, like we just talked about, there's a lot of hope, and I think because there's a lot of hope, it definitely means Marvel's not dead. And I definitely think if Marvel has like 2, maybe 3 more flops, they're gonna totally change things up.
Oh yeah.
because I believe that's what Kevin Feige would do. And in Feige, we trust. I think if Feige gets a lot more involved with things like he used to be, he can
Yeah.
flip the switch so quickly. And
Hmm.
he's a big reason, and these projects are a big reason, and the connectivity is a really big reason why I think no, Marvel's not dead. I think the MCU is about to actually take a pretty big turn and get a lot
Hmm.
more exciting. So, just my thoughts. What do you think?
I'm optimistic alongside you. I hope for the same thing. I think there's been enough feedback from fans, feedback from critics for Marvel Studios to look at kind of the big picture and say, let's make some adjustments. And we're seeing that already, slowing down the content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. They've made
That
the
that is a
changes.
big sign of change to come. But I think you're exactly right. If a couple stinkers come out, then we're looking at a real big rework. And then
Yeah.
it's hard to say how much of Phase 6 will hold at this point, given
Right.
the politics of the situation, the entertainment industry as a whole, and people like the people involved. I am very hopeful, but I'm cautious. I'll say that.
That's a great thing to say. Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Hopeful and cautious. But again, I feel like Secret Invasion, the finale for that, is the biggest displeasement we've seen from fans
Mm,
in a while, right? You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of fans have really been, and again, it's what kind of sent the internet over the edge, and that's when all the Marvel's Dead stuff started popping up. So I
yeah.
think this actually might be a key moment for Marvel right now, since the writer strikes and everything are going on, for them to take a step back and be like, let's connect with our audience again a little bit more, and let's really think about these stories. Like, let's make true Marvel stories where it's a story of growth and development and character building and eventually a triumph, right?
Yeah.
But you can't
Yeah.
have a triumph without overcoming something, which
Hmm.
I hope we see more. But I think this will, I think like you said, Marvel has taken a step back already. Disney's taken a step back already and been like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't focus on gaining as many Disney Plus subscribers as possible by producing a bunch of content. Let's take a step back and just make good stuff again. I think that's where we're at. Uh, I hope that's where I've said that so many times.
Yeah.
Like, I think
We're
I
hopeful
hope
because we're also fans at the end of the day, right?
exactly.
Like we
I
don't have control over what gets put out, but how we react, that's the only thing that we have control over.
yeah.
But it's just a quality thing at the end of the day. Like I used to love the Marvel one shots, and I loved how they felt like little short films, and then
Yeah.
we're getting a whole season of a character like Moon Knight. Dude, I was so excited. Moon Knight was getting his own show. I was so excited that
Yeah.
Hawkeye was getting a show, and then and we got to see Kate Bishop on screen.
Yeah.
Like all those things were really exciting, but it's always that last couple episodes or the last episode that just lets you down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just don't know where in the storytelling process that that ball gets dropped. So I'm hoping whatever comes out, there is no ball dropping.
Right.
It's a steady progression to where we want it to be.
Yeah.
And like I said, we can't control that. We can only
Yeah.
watch it and enjoy it, or watch it and critique it. But I'm genuinely curious how other fans are feeling right now. You see it online and you see people reacting.
Yeah.
I mean, and the answer for the big question is Marvel dying? No one really knows.
Yeah.
That's going to be a collective decision, I think, from the fandom, right? Because like
I
if
mean,
we're
kind of,
all
yeah.
hating something, then
Right.
yeah, it's dead. But
Yeah.
there's enough people liking stuff. There's enough people who enjoy Miss Marvel, She-Hulk.
Exactly.
That
Right.
last episode was pretty alienating for some, but I actually really liked that last episode. And then you have like Secret Invasion, where it's just like lead up, lead up, lead up, genre film. Like this is awesome. Oh,
No,
never mind. It's not.
nothing.
It's
Nothing
not
at
really that
all.
awesome.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's.
and one thing we didn't talk about, which is a whole nother podcast,
Oh yeah.
but the X-Men are coming.
Yes. I
I mean,
know.
it's and that's gonna be a complete tonal shift in the MCU. Like
Yeah.
to take the shift from the Avengers to the X-Men, like that's gonna be crazy.
if
It's
we
gonna be
don't,
crazy.
if we're not leading up to an Avengers versus the X-Men film
Exactly.
eventually, what the fuck
Right.
are we doing? Oh,
No,
sorry.
it had you, you've already dropped one.
Did I?
Yes.
It just slips out.
uh,
But like honestly though, like
but
X-Men are
powerful
coming.
statement what you just said. What are we doing
Yeah.
if not going to build up to that one day? And I actually think we really are going to build up to that with the way Secret Invasion
Mm-hmm.
at the end really did alienate the scrolls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they actually did really be like, we're gonna find you, we're gonna kill you. Anyone that's not born on this planet is not welcome here. It's kind of like
Yeah.
I can see how they're not gonna like the mutants, you know.
Yeah.
So I
100%.
do I think Marvel's dying? No. Do I think they put out some bad stuff recently? Sure. But with everything they have coming up, Fantastic Four, the X-Men, all these connected projects and exciting projects coming up. I mean, Daredevil, 18 episodes long. Like I think you know what's great is if they're 18 episodes long, they can be 30 minutes. They can be 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's
I'm
more room to
excited.
play. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm really excited for that. I am excited for the future, but like you said, I'm a little cautious as well. But
Yeah.
hang in there, Marvel fans, because I think we're about to see that shift. And I think Disney's really listening. I think they really, really see what's going on and they're gonna make a change as well. So I'm hopeful and
Me
still
too.
very excited for the future. But let us know
Yes.
what you all think in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on all of this? Please let us know. Don't forget to follow Law. I don't know where I'm going to put him when I edit this. I think he's going to be like there or like over there. So don't forget to follow Law. You can check out his Instagram handle. We'll put that in the description and in the pinned comment. You can follow me on Instagram as well. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you all next time. Oof.
Bye.